Meeting at 6:30?
6:30
6:30 on the dot. Okay. So this is the Tuesday, November 26th meeting of the Rutland Planning Board. And this meeting is being recorded for viewing on Rutland Cable TV and YouTube and some other places as well.
I believe it's the last time too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because from now on, we're not allowing it in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a violation of, something, right?
It's our violation, yeah. No, because I thought it was only good for up to so many weeks that somebody had requested it. So I'm counter requesting it now.
Okay, news to me. That's news to me.
Hey, you gotta have a laugh someplace in this place.
Well,
As far as the minutes are concerned, I'll make a move to accept them with a question.
I would second that with another question.
You may have your question first then.
Thank you. On the last page of the minutes, I believe it's the last paragraph,
3 of 3?
Subdivision resolution.
It says-
Okay, right here, okay.
it says something about Maryland would like to bring back the...
We'd still like to get the bylaw subcommittee together so a meeting can be scheduled for December 11th on this topic.
Okay, I see different one now.
Are we still, of course, the 11th?
Further down, it says Marilyn asked if the ad hoc committee is still active.
Yeah, just before that, can I see your copy? That says Maryland would still like to get the bylaw subcommittee together. It's more that the committee wants to get the bylaw subcommittee organized, not just me.
okay.
So strike you and put down planning board.
Correct, thank you.
I have an edit here, actually on the same page, 3 of 3, where it says, David George suggested the subcommittee get a consultant to help differentiate general zoning. I believe what I was talking about was the sign bylaw. That the sign bylaw
Okay.
is not so simple, based upon a recent Supreme Court case, and that a consultant would maybe be more knowledgeable than a layperson.
All right.
I don't know if you catch it.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you know what court case?
Gilbert versus Reed.
It was about that big plasma one. I saw something in the news.
It had to do with disparate treatment of a church sign
Oh.
being treated not in the same way signs otherwise treated in the same zoning district.
Yeah, okay. So this was about some type of audacious lit up plasma screen, something sign.
That may be a different case that I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with.
It was in the news. I don't know if it went to court yet.
Page 2.
Page 2.
And the last sentence, when Mr. Blair decided to withdraw his request for extension on the special permit. Now, what does that mean? We withdrew it. So it means he accepts us of not renewing it?
No, if you go further down in the thing to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth line down, starts out the line before. Mr. Blair argued that he has exercised the permit by selling off some of the lots and completing 41 perk tests. So what he is saying is, what he's trying to say is, they have done what would be considered substantial work.
And that I request not, that I would request legal counsel on that to have a standing. I want to know what Amy has to say about that, because I don't believe that is.
Rest of your thoughts on it?
Well, he sold lots off on a subdivision that's not
No,
approved.
No.
ANRs, he sold A&R lots off of a lot,
Off the same parcel of property.
which did not require subdivision or anything else.
Well, okay, so is the A&R's part of the subdivision?
No.
Okay, so then that has no doesn't bear on the argument then for the renewal, correct?
That part doesn't. The perk tests, if he did 41 perk tests, then probably some of those were on the property that would be the subdivision.
Oh.
But to me, that does not really classified.
You look like you've got something to say.
Well, whatever, people are finished.
Go.
I still think it's a question for another day, whether or not he's exercised the special permit, such that when he comes for the definitive, I think at that point, he's gonna have to make the case that he's used or exercised a special permit in order to get the definitive. I think that's a question for that time. Right now, he withdrew the request for the extension. I think the argument is that there's no need for the extension because of the work so listed.
I'm saying the work solicitors would not classify because, I'm just saying, I want Amy.
Oh, he's saying that he doesn't need to renew it because he's exercised a
Yes.
special permit.
Yeah, so.
And I'm stating, you know, I want town council to take a look at that. Make a determination.
At this time, I don't think we have any information to react to.
Then I would say we will not extend.
So-
the
so-
permit.
But he withdrew it.
Yeah,
We withdrew the request.
it's not on the table to extend it.
Okay.
Or why
So
will,
I think it's okay.
When is it to?
Well, let me ask this question. This is where I guess I'm struggling. If he's got a special permit for open space, but hasn't submitted a definitive plan, how long does that special permit stay active? I thought it was 2 years by state law.
If the special permit has been exercised, it's been exercised. It's been used on a timely basis. There's no expiration. The expiration is if you don't use it. The expiration is 2 years from the time it's recorded with the town clerk, if it's not used. If it is used, it's been used. Unless it's otherwise conditioned for a time to actually do something else, which this one was not.
Well, isn't the special permit tied to a definitive plan for a
It's a
subdivision?
precursor step to the definitive. So first you do one thing and then you can then do the other. Oh, you
How's
can do
what
them
count?
together too.
You can't.
Okay. So you could have a special permit sitting, and I'm just being facetious, for 20 years and never bring a definitive plan in. And as long as they've done something on it, it could sit there.
You know,
In theory.
and it's probably, you know, subjective. You could even say, you know, if he goes out on that property and turns over one shovel full of dirt every 3 or 4 months.
Okay. I'm just,
I'm not saying that's true, but
I'm not satisfied.
someone could argue that.
Well, I don't mind just
I still
pictures.
say it's not relevant because he changed his mind and took it off the table.
Yeah, I don't,
okay.
I want it dead.
Yeah, I get that. That's the trouble I'm having too, is here we go with a 20-year something
Yes.
sitting out there and somebody's got to keep track of it.
you know.
Exactly.
Do you think legal counsel would be able to give us a definitive answer on that?
I think it's premature to look at that question, especially given that it was withdrawn. I think now it's gonna be that it has started on a timely basis. I think by the time we get to the definitive stage, that's gonna be something necessary for the package. And I think that's when that question will get answered.
So let me ask this.
Yeah, he can't do anything really until he does get the definitive subdivision plan.
I'm fine with that. So when the definitive comes in, Norm, that's when we send this to Amy and ask, well, this thing's haven't been renewed for 4 years.
Right,
So is this is this relevant to a definitive plan?
yeah.
I'm okay with that, but how do we keep track of that? Because this could be 5-6 years down the road before this happens. I guess, is this a database or something we keep somewhere? I guess that's what I'm asking. We sort of need some way to track this. And I don't think we have that right now.
Be the
Somebody-
minutes.
If that
Yeah, but
thing
the-
there was out of here, I'd open up.
Yeah, but, well, let me ask, that's what I guess I'm looking for, is some way, an Excel spreadsheet, a database, a calendar, something to track this thing. Because the minutes, I don't, but I need something that somebody can, if we want to say, hey, can you go look this up for us, or Dave, look this up, we'd have something to go to.
I mean, I can.
What you're looking for is something that's easy to review at any time.
Yes, correct, yeah.
Write it on a wall.
I don't know.
Big page.
Is that something you think you could accomplish? Something like this?
This is a big project, I know what I'm asking for.
I think realistically, when the matter comes up, I mean, what I think I can do is add to the binder for Milliken Brook, or the file, for the special permit, some note, and bring these minutes into that file. And then when it comes up again, we'll go to the special permit file, look at these notes, and then we can remember this conversation. Otherwise, a true an Excel spreadsheet, we're still working on best practices. We should
Oh, I'm not thinking just for this one, I'm thinking for all special permits.
That's what I'm
Because we
answering.
blew it
Yeah.
on one of them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, it was more of a, and to your point, the best practices I get, I'm looking for something that we can look to and say, yep, nobody came in 4 weeks ago, so the special permit's off the table.
I mean, ultimately, it's the applicant's responsibility to keep track of their special permits, to make sure they've been exercised, or to record them with the registry of deeds and all those other things. I mean, we can try to assist in that process, however, so.
So, okay, it's not our responsibility, I thought it
It's
was.
their responsibility to keep up with it, but it's our responsibility to know whether he's kept up with it.
That's what I'm getting at, Norm.
I don't know, I don't think it should be that big a deal to be able to keep track of it.
Well, we'll see what we can do. We can add it to the binder, maybe make a spreadsheet.
And then I don't know, I'm relying an awful lot on Dave here, but just the same, I think that's part of the reason we have you here.
I think he's a reliable guy.
Very.
I can't promise that we're gonna go and look at every single special permit and make a database for those. I think we can start with this one, and I think
Yeah.
Going forward.
going forward, correct.
And, you know, we don't have that many of them out there.
No, it doesn't
I can
seem
think,
to me that we do.
at most 3 others.
I wanted to head this off at the pass is what I was getting at, because we've had some issues, I'll just leave it at that. Want to avoid them going forward. That's it.
Okay, any other discussion on the minutes?
No, I'm good.
So we have a motion with those comments to accept the minutes.
She seconded.
Second. So no more discussion. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay. ANRs.
Oh, that's right, I wasn't here. Well, I can still, I don't have to abstain on accepting the minutes. Right?
Oh, I don't know, I've always done it. I'm not here.
Yeah, I think you should.
Council?
I think if you weren't
present.
present, if you weren't present for the given meeting that the minutes pertain to, I don't think you can vote.
Okay, then I have to abstain then.
Yeah, I think that's what usually happens.
I knew I should have did that phone call in.
Okay.
It's also up there.
Monitor over here.
The old-fashioned monitor, right?
That's the only monitor I know how to turn on.
And then we've got in our packet here too.
Oh, I didn't get the chemistry though.
Yeah, you have information in the packets.
Alright, that's what I was looking for. Street here. Yep, that's
All right, do
what
we have anything, have you read the deed?
Yes,
Okay.
to give the perimeter of the property.
The only thing I would ask on that, if you have emergency access to the tower. When Mr. Break-In had that all done, and it was way back then, there was a way for to get in there for emergencies, so I don't see it there.
I didn't see any roadways out there. There's the driveway that's there.
That's part of
This
the
is
deed.
And if you go
It's all
to,
field going right up.
yes,
so
and did you see the byway and the cart path and all that? It not only went there, it also went over to Trotter.
it could be. There's no easements written or anything on the deed that shows that.
There has to be for that tower. That tower
The
can't
tower owns this entire piece of property.
Correct. And if that road got shut off or something else and they needed another way in there, and that's what I always thought that
This
There's a
is,
deed,
this
yeah.
is a town road right
Dick
here.
talked about.
Well, I don't have an answer on that. That's not why I'm here. I'm here, here's the perimeter of the property, and we're splitting
Right,
it up.
and I don't see the easement on there. And I always was
There
under
is
the
no easement on
impression
record.
that Dick Break-In,
He never gave an easement on file. There's no easement on record of anything.
all right,
So,
is is that something that should have been? I mean, whatever it is, I guess I can't hold you to it then.
Well, it's a town road, hold on, Dick.
This is a town road.
Yeah,
That's a town road.
Yeah.
There's no reason it can't be an easement back to a, I mean, is that, explain to me, okay, so
If the town
they,
wants to pay them for an easement, I guess I can suggest it to them. But right now, there are no easements on this property except, there are no easements. This is the town road,
Yes.
and here's the frontage area. That's all this plan is showing, depicting. There are no easements that we're aware of in the deeds for anything that's not shown on this plan. I know that there's a property that's owned by Industrial Tower of Wireless LLC,
Yeah.
and then the cable company owns a piece up here, it goes around like so.
Well, there's a road, Weaver Farm Road goes right up to
This
it.
is Weaver Pond Road.
Yeah.
Weaver Pond
And
Road.
that goes right up to the tower.
no,
No,
it
that's the
doesn't.
house.
No, the
That's
tower
it.
sits back here
The house is in front.
on this property.
Wait further.
Oh, crap.
That's the house.
Yeah, I know.
The tower's actually back on their property, which is back here.
Right, completely on their property.
Yeah.
And the guy wires are on their property.
Yeah.
All right.
But I was under the same impression you were, Dick. Maybe that's, I don't.
There you go.
It goes, I remember a lot of hullabaloo when
Right
they
there.
first put it in.
Yeah,
This
here's
is
the
before my
tower.
time.
Right, they have their own road going up there.
Yeah, the tower
This
has
is-
their own road.
Right, right.
You wanna see?
No, I've seen
They
the
got it.
I've seen it.
photographs, it's on the other lot, and it goes to a dedicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, right to the next, yeah,
That
that
goes
was,
right here, right up to the tower.
that's what I
Okay.
saw in those satellite maps.
Okay.
I mean, if there was an emergency, I'm sure they could drive the trucks the way you're thinking. I mean, there's no house, this lot here, that's the farmhouse.
Yes, I know.
There's nothing else gonna be put here, so if they had to get up there in an emergency, I'm sure they can zip straight up.
Guess I gotta see, does lot 3 have that's, oh, it's got the 200 feet, doesn't it? Okay, good. That's what I can't see on this little map, so I was trying to read.
One of the things I find just kind of strange here is that it looks like there's a 40-foot right-of-way for the road, but according to this, the pavement only goes, it's all off to one side.
Oh, yeah. Because there's no description of the Weaver Farm Road, other than the length coming off of Campbell Street. And I sat with Anita to get the record, and I think I submitted
It's in here.
It's in there.
that. And the road goes to this distance. If we centered it on the road, it would be going through the top of the house. So,
That's not uncommon in Massachusetts.
No, I guess.
there was no, and we made it a 40-foot right-of-way, so that if they ever do something, they got room to work on it.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have 40-foot wide pavement anyway.
No,
No,
no.
So, it's just
So
kind of.
what did Mr. Thurston have up there anyways? Chickens? Oh, you weren't around? No.
Snowmobiles.
Dick did though.
There's still a bunch of parts.
I just gotta do my math, that's all I, because this is on the, there's 92. Is this 150 or 200?
200.
200, okay.
Table.
Okay, thanks.
So this is in R40.
Actually, this is in the business zone.
Yeah.
The business zone calls for 200
That's
feet.
all business zone.
It calls for 200 feet if there's no
Acre
water or
lots.
sewer. If there's water or sewer, it's a lesser frontage, but if there's no water or sewer, it's a greater, it's a maximum frontage, which is 200 feet.
And this is well septic, so, okay.
So it's the most.
And I brought it up too, being businesses. You know, I thought you couldn't do that unless you change it, but it's still in that zone thing, rather.
So, I'm not saying we can't put businesses on this.
Good.
Good. Remember, we got a use permit. Buy one of these lots and put a Taco Bell.
They need a lot of business.
I was thinking something else, but I'm on camera.
Okay.
All right, I don't see anything that's,
Look at all meets frontage,
yep, acreage is there.
any acreage is there.
Do we have a, we have the amount, but do we have a check number?
Yes.
All right, this is easy.
Check number 4409 for $550.
Okay.
Okay, something, because this may come up a little bit later, are these lots all accessible through the frontage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Campbell Street and Weaver Farm Road.
Yeah, because since Weaver Farm Road is a
Town
public
road.
It's a town road.
town road.
So I'm just thinking, if there's a pond right here.
Oh, there is a pond there, huh?
I don't
No,
know.
no.
I remember this hill's all like that over there. So it's accessible if you have a 4x4.
Move to endorse.
Second.
Any discussion? And I believe we already checked the fee and it was correct.
You may want to confirm that. The fee collected was $550.
$300 plus $50 per lot, plus the alteration.
Yep.
Fill this out, I'm impressed.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Another star.
Yeah, that's two.
I'm scared you, aren't I?
Yeah, scared
What are you
the hell
eating
out of
lately?
Yeah.
That's good.
Learn from the old man, that's all I'm gonna tell you.
Try to keep it so everybody's happy.
Did we vote yet?
Motion still in favor.
Oh, in favor?
Aye.
Now you can sign them
All right.
Before we have to turn it over.
I can walk around. It's like right over here for.
And we have the paper copies.
Paper copies are in everybody's folders, if you want to collect some of those for the other purposes.
That's here.
It's in the appendix, the addendum. The supplemental.
No, that's why I got that sealed thing. No, I'm not getting the lid round, I'm better than that. I can deal with Chuck, I can't.
You still need one of these also?
I don't mess with Lynn.
Taking the 2 copies.
I'll send that over for his signature.
You need extra copies?
I'll collect them, we'll take them back in the folder. Is that one of them?
Thank you.
I don't think so, because I pulled this out of mine.
Got it, thank you. Yes, there's one for each of them.
Underneath here. It's yours. Okay. They're all nicely folded, we don't have to go through all of that.
No, we're trying to think of these things, we deal with these things as they come up.
Any chance to have an elastic? Yep. Thank you. All right.
Okay, next we have ANR on Pommogussett Road.
Okay.
This one is, well, let's just say interesting.
I don't like interesting.
Okay.
Oh, no. Don't tell me what I see here.
This is, there is no new lots being created on this, they're just being changed in shape. So there are no extra lots, nothing's changing, the frontages all stay the same. It's just the shapes were altered to create this. So, there were 3 lots, now there are 3 lots. And the biggest thing that changed, is to give you what's changed, is Justine and Michael, who are sitting here, own this. It was 59 point something acres of land, and they want this shoreline right there. So that, because they're gonna build their house right here, and they want to have control over that entire shoreline, so that everything stays the way it is. So they talked me into altering it, so they can preserve that. It didn't affect the amount of lots. I said it's just a shape, so I'm good with it. So that's what we did.
So you have well over a half mile of 10-foot property line, or maybe it's 20, I apologize, I can't see it,
Yeah.
that
No, that's-
goes all the way from the front of Pommogussett back to, what's the road back there?
That's towards Campbell Street, but Campbell Street's
Street.
probably another 1,000 feet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this is all pond,
No, yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Now, this is what set the precedent for,
yeah, this is why you guys changed
so,
it.
yeah.
But we
But
didn't,
Almost easy.
this was okay.
this is the recorded plan that you guys signed.
So the dotted line is what's being altered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting my breath.
Yeah.
Done.
So they still make,
Just, my neighbors haven't figured out how to tell them that they have 10-foot easements.
Well, this is all family, so I think they keep it in the family.
Well, that's fine, but the 4 houses that Jimmy built next to me, I haven't had the pleasure of telling them about their water problems.
Okay, fee on this one.
I have a worksheet.
The fee collected is for $450.
3 lots, yep. The base and then plus 3 lots, correct?
So we did, because this is gonna supersede that last plan. So there were 3 lots and there are 3 lots.
450, you said?
That's what it was, yep.
Well, I moved to endorse.
Okay. Frontage and everything stayed the same, correct?
Yep.
It's just
It's
the
a
how
Yeah,
the
it's just
routing
the
of
line.
the,
Yeah.
alright. And the back lots, I see a dotted line there on that lot 1, is that just showing?
That's what the
Used to
shape
be.
used to look.
Okay,
Yeah.
It got changed.
alright, so we expanded it out a little.
They need 60 acres to feel comfortable in their residence.
That means you don't hit.
They don't want neighbors.
Here, it's going across it, all right?
Point out, what did you change again?
The dotted line stick on
We
there.
took that piece of shoreline, that's like almost a peninsula there. They're going to now own that peninsula.
And they moved, and they changed how
The
the,
lot line was here.
Yeah.
It's now here.
Yeah.
yeah. They just changed the 10-foot, is it 10 or 20-foot?
I think it's 10.
10-foot easement to a different shape
Yep.
and expanded the back lot
This
1 a
one-
little bit
this
more.
was lot
I needed
one,
the area.
and it's now this.
Yep.
It's enough to make you want to look cross-eyed.
I voted against it the last time.
Yeah, so did I.
I have no problem with it, but I'll stay true to my belief.
Did I hear a motion?
Yeah, I did.
Did I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion on this one? In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Respectfully, but
And I'll do the opposed,
Yeah, opposed.
it's like I did for the other one.
Dick, you said you abstained.
Well, no, opposed.
No, opposed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I opposed too.
Yes, 11001.
I'm gonna pass on the signature. Since I opposed.
Work of art.
I know.
Hey,
There you would go. Wow, you were part of that?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's one of my,
set precedent.
I can make another description.
yeah. Hey, Norm, did you see all those houses that are up for sale around us?
Well, yeah.
Please, sir.
Did you need another copy?
Sure, I'll take it for the file. Which is-
And I'll tell you what, when you're done signing.
Thank you.
Use that.
There's that sign.
You wanna give up yours too?
My what?
You have a copy of the plan.
Oh,
I can give it mine.
sure, I don't care.
This one right here.
Hold on a second, which one is it?
That one.
That one, there you go.
Yep, thank you.
I just gotta take home the Weaver Farm home, because, let's look at that. Now, this is the next one. This is what we just looked at. Nope.
I'm taking mine out of here.
Yeah, because,
See ya.
is this new or is this old? Okay,
The board has 3 ANRs.
yep,
This is the last one.
yes. And this is a new victim. The existing victim
Who?
gets a lead.
Date. Oh,
What's that? So, did somebody got a date
put a
that?
date on there, please. Well, they will send me
26 November.
walking.
or
Glad I just saw
November
that.
26, 2019. Yeah, they won't let you.
No, that would be a,
November 26th?
Yep, today's the 26th. The other one's dated, I made sure of that one.
There you go.
grab that elastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
That's it, guys, we're done.
tell me this is already approved, this is just being redone, 'cause this
You have the existing conditions, I'm not sure.
This is Anderson's farm, right? I know.
I brought that from reference.
Oh, you,
I brought that from reference.
That's
the
not the
existing
A&R.
condition.
oh, okay, thanks.
I brought that from reference for the existing condition.
Okay, thank you, sir. I thought something in my packet was different.
And I guess that was mistakenly put in the packet.
This is Campbell, right?
Glen
That's-
Road,
that's
Campbell
correct.
Street.
Tim, the existing conditions that are really put in your plan, that belongs elsewhere. Can I have that? please?
Oh,
You have the correct, you have the, well, if I understand that there was a revision made,
Yes.
which I thank you for getting that to us.
What's that? Oh, yes.
Thanks for getting that to us.
No problem.
We don't have a rolled plan.
The Mylar is there was a revision made. I have the existing Mylar here, which came in with
Is
it.
that the Mylar? No. Mylar.
This is the Mylar that came in with the revision.
Really want to put it out to read it.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that happens.
Got a magnifying glass?
are these new lots, or are these existing? I'm confused.
That's the wrong plan.
Okay, this is the wrong plan.
That's, yeah. That might have been your last filing or something.
Yeah, that's the existing condition for the one, the A&R
Not-
that you
not-
folks
Yeah, that's the previous.
just looked at. That's the existing conditions for the Vitruva one that you just looked at. If you keep going, you'll come to. On the wrong side, A&R, yes.
This is existing.
All right, Elbeck Brothers.
This was the one that was right before
Sweet,
Julian
okay.
came with this. 'Cause I remember we got this one, and then Julian
Yeah.
came with the one he had, and that's when we were like, okay.
This is what's existing.
Yeah, we left some for open
Okay.
space, but we didn't. ended
And
up
which one is,
Move forward the open space plan.
so this is the one that they're changing, this is the existing one?
Correct.
Okay, so
In
now
the
I
packet
just,
for reference, you have the existing condition, and also the proposal. So you can make a comparison between the two.
so so these are all the new lots that are going in. And they, okay, it wasn't me. So there is the cul-de-sac. That's lot B. So lot,
All right, so what do you have up there? What are you changing? What are you?
holy
in?
crap, there's a lot changing.
There's a lot, yeah, filling in
Well,
quite a
there's-
bit.
Yeah, there's one parcel,
Basically,
which is being divided into 10 lots. Starting, because we already had lots numbered 1 through 4, to make it easier, we started with lot 5. So it goes from lot 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
But
So
this
it's
lot
te-
4 is changing,
It's
right?
10 new lots. There is no lot 4 on this plan.
On the new plan, I'm sorry.
No, because lot 4
So I'm
was...
looking at an old
We
one.
already did lots 1 through 4 on the same parcel, so I just started the numbering at 5. So there wouldn't be confusion with the
Can you
Yeah.
tell me-
lenders.
But that one's different, right? That's changed?
So
From
the
the
original,
original?
the original boundary is this. And now in that boundary, there's 10 new lots.
But these two have changed.
These lots from here up have not changed.
I'm looking at
These
that
are-
plan
this-
and I'm looking at this plan and they changed. This is a recorded plan, right?
Yep.
That change, it's different than this one. Look how that edge is
If I
there.
could,
There was-
we're in for a revision of lot lines.
There was a lot line revision at
That's
some
the only
point
change
around
that's
here,
happened.
but it was a very minor change. That, if that's the May plan, there was an August revision due to an error with a property line agreement here.
Oh,
I apologize, I didn't
Yeah.
find the plan with the revision
Yeah,
for the
it-
minor lot change.
It's recorded, but it's not referenced correctly with the registry.
That's why I didn't find it, so I
Yeah.
know what the plan that I could find, but you are
It's
correct.
very similar.
Thank you.
okay.
There's almost no change, but there is a slight change in the corner of these lots.
Yeah. Okay.
So you left the, what looks like a part of a cul-de-sac to make access to the back into the
For-
other,
This one?
yes.
Well, it's set up if we move forward with a common driveway application. It's set up to do that if we end up doing that.
Common driveway for, because all the rest are, you got the frontage on Campbell Street.
There's 3 lots, there's 3 lots,
For these two.
there's 3 lots with frontage
Oh,
on
you're not
Campbell.
taking them, you're not bringing those off of Main Street?
There's 3,
Off of Campbell Street?
there's 3 off of Campbell and there's 7 off of Glenwood.
Mark, can you tell me how lot 13 has enough frontage?
It has like
only got
500 feet here or something.
No, lot 13.
Lot 13 has,
Only has 100.
Wetlands you were
No.
open up.
there's 3 different bearings and distances there.
Yeah,
So it's got 67 plus 100 plus 47.
47.
we do have maps in the.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't see those bottom ones on the road. All right, so you're good. Sorry.
So-
I was trying to figure, I saw the 100 and that's all I
Reading the
saw.
law, doesn't it say for emergency vehicles?
Well, I don't know that there is that issue there. We have the resources to look at it further, we can ask the applicant if, or you know from your own historical knowledge.
Well, I remember when the Ice Age, yeah. No, all right, so what you're saying then, these lots 13, 14, you're using a common driveway for them?
Not necessarily, but we set it up that way so we can, depending on where we end up putting the houses.
Okay.
So if
That
you
would-
would,
that
you'd
would
have
be-
to come back in.
That would be pending a common driveway application
Okay,
process.
good enough. Otherwise, you've got enough frontage off of Campbell Street that you could come in off of
But
Campbell
there's
Street.
wetlands down there, or is that?
That's
There's some, it's low in the,
something that we
this,
do need to take a very good look at, I think. Which,
Like a sidewalk type look, or?
well, we'll start with, we have a map.
We have a map, maybe you can call that up
And,
to make if you like.
What address?
What's the closest physical address?
if you, put in,
There's this house right here.
put in
isn't
like
there?
198
Try one.
Campbell.
Because we have a watershid protection map here, just for
Yeah.
reference to take a look at it.
There are some wetlands, and that's the reason to set it up that way. It's not so much an access issue, but more of an issue of 100 foot to the septic systems.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
we're,
you found it, those are the lots there, the area that Dick's talking about is further up this way. It's beyond this house here, beyond this house lot.
actually, if you'd like, I have a wetland map in my car if that's easier. I don't know if it's different than that or not.
This is the state's watershed protection map.
Yeah, so if you scroll down, or drag it down.
Where's the cursor? How do you go down without?
Can you?
You have to drag it.
Put
You
put-
just have to
there you
drag
Oh,
it,
okay,
correct.
gotcha. Am I
Yeah.
in the wrong
So,
direction?
yep,
No,
so
you're
the
doing
front-
right.
The frontage is right here.
Yep.
You can, for good references, the bend in the road.
Yeah, so
Yep.
none of the Dixon wetlands, this property that is in question right now, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, it's actually over here.
Yeah, yep.
Pretty much
It's
wetland.
all accessible.
Okay.
So we've got,
It's basically goes, I think the properties go right to here, and then they go straight back, so it basically skirts that wetland.
just barely.
Yep,
Yeah, it's a wetland's right there. You can see,
yeah,
and it's all dry.
yeah, it's just skirting it. Oh, here's the property we're talking about, right there.
Right there.
Yep.
Correct, yep.
Yeah, because that's Brittenell coming in and we're talking about down here. So this wetlands, which is right there, this property line just basically skirts it right here.
Yeah.
So,
So like you say you don't know where the septic's gonna go yet.
I don't know where anything's gonna go yet. I just filed the ANR,
thanks to the pizza discussion.
mostly because, the pizza oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't know where zoning was gonna go at town meetings, so I wanted to make sure I got it in. Especially if something was, anything could happen at town meeting, changed on the floor, or who knows.
I don't see any issues that I've got. I'm doing all the math, everything's coming out right. Acre, 1.5.
All I wanna know is check number and the amount.
Yep. Right here. 800
Is the amount,
is the amount, and check number 1285,
1285.
which you can see right here with the copies.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know if you want to verify that.
Does Ducharme know that if I wreck my car down here, that he's responsible? I'm serious. That's his property. If something happens on the side of that road on his property, he's liable. I bet he has no clue, or she. And they'll learn.
Does anybody have any clue anymore?
No, that's why Mr. Kuritzy is so well paid and busy.
Yeah.
Open doors.
Actually,
Second.
if I could, before you
Yes.
do that, staff asked for a note to be put on the plan indicating the intention of the plan. We have that on the copy that was distributed to the board, but we don't have that on the Mylar. The Mylar?
Mylar.
Oh, thank you. That's the one you want to,
Sign.
I believe it's on here, I didn't physically look this up, it's
all
random.
right, it should be down here in the lower.
Yep.
There it is. Yep, that's the one we want to sign, so we'll take this one back. Go.
This.
That is gonna, all I can tell you is this is gonna be one busy area.
Yeah, now it's gonna be.
Those stop
that-
signs, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
It's gonna be a
Lots
roundabout.
of people coming down Brittenell Drive to
Yeah.
get to the center of town.
You better believe it. And that,
That dirt road's gonna get a lot of use. They might want to pave it now.
that's gonna be a tough one.
There's gonna be a lot of traffic on it.
There already is.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
You haven't seen anything yet.
yeah.
I thought this stuff was gonna slow down. Okay, I think I heard a motion.
Yes, it
and
did.
A second?
there's a second. Any further discussion on this one?
He's good.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's gonna be a very scenic road. well-used.
Yeah.
It can be seen by a
There's
lot.
gonna be cars.
Yeah.
You gonna take the advice and drop in some, what are those homes out of Pennsylvania? No, the ones that are pre-built,
No.
what are those? Yeah, the manufactured homes, because there's one right here, I remember watching that thing go in,
That one is?
10, yeah, that's all manufactured, they brought it all in pieces.
Oh.
That's about 10 years ago, I think it happened.
Module.
Yeah, module, yeah, they brought it in from Pennsylvania.
It wasn't the old Sears? Oh, which you
The
might.
one that lasted since 1920?
I was hoping that you'd pick it up, I keep forgetting.
Okay, yeah.
If the chairman would allow any further discussion on this, would like to run something past you. So these are all, if that's all right.
Yep.
So these are all 200-foot lots, acre and a half. And there's really no privacy there because it's all open field. So by the time you do the 200-foot frontage lots, you end up with like a dead area in between the lots, that doesn't get touched by site work and doesn't get fixed. So I was thinking of possibly doing an open space plan where I could get 11 frontage lots here and then leave the rest for open space. It would come out in the 40-something acre range. But I don't know if the board would be willing to.
Is it flat, and will you put it in the rec field?
Well, it's,
Flat in the corner as it is.
You say that, but if we get 11 frontage lots 120 feet wide and leave this open field and open space, it would make these lots, I think, just as nice. I'm kind of in a debate right now with others, but the back of the lots would be just like this. I'd have 11 in there backing up to open space land. But my question to the board is,
Would we see all of this being open space?
yeah,
That's a lot of
It
property.
is.
my question to the board is, again, I have to run this past others, but part of the decision is the filing requirements. And I guess, if we do move forward with it, would the board
I would like more open space in this town.
be willing to maybe waive fees and waive filing requirements for open space? Whereas if we did it, we'd want to come in just with like an ANR style plan and have it signed just based on the plan.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
We gotta go through the,
It has to be.
It's asking a lot now.
yeah.
Well, no, I understand the special permit process, it's just the rest of the
But
filing fees and the whole
this-
rigmarole and the peer
This could
peer
certainly,
review services.
I would think, suffice as a preliminary plan.
But this doesn't have a house, does this have house count?
Be nice as well.
Yeah, well, you get your count right there, right?
Well,
Yeah. That could be considered preliminary house count.
we would normally still probably send it out to Quinn, but I can't picture that would be an expensive thing in this particular case.
It's more
No road.
it's more the filing fees, the stormwater permit, the bonding. Are we gonna have to, can we waive any or all of that?
It would still be a subdivision.
It's
Exactly.
gotta go through
Still a
this,
subdivision,
yeah.
so it definitely still has to go through public hearing.
But it's not gonna
And I
have any
get- and I- and I-
subdivision
and I
roads, is
get
that
you-
correct?
I get you're not in control if it's public hearing process, but yeah, there'd be no new roads, it'd be all frontage lots. There'd be 100.
There is an advantage to that.
And
Oh, yeah.
when you make them 120 feet wide, you can then just go in and do the whole site. And there's no, you can make it look nice because there's no like in-between land that you don't
Yeah.
want to touch because you don't want to disturb it. And then it doesn't fit with the grading. And then if you do touch it, you got to restore it. And now you're fixing 10 acres of field. So there's a lot of advantages to keeping like 120 or 150 foot frontage instead of 200 feet.
How much of that open space is dry?
Probably.
Half of
What's
it.
this
Yeah, probably
field
have.
right here, right?
A lot of this is wet. Yeah, that field is big.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I know it, yeah.
field basically connects, the field connects these 2 points.
Yeah.
And then this is all high and dry in here. I was actually thinking of putting this house maybe even back here. There's a nice peninsula back here. I was actually thinking maybe even, this plan was kind of a rush in case there was zoning changes, but
schedule.
we do have a possible another lot.
Yeah, it's right
there.
here.
Access and everything.
Oh, here it is, it's on the back of these. That's the one thing we did have. I'll give Julian,
Somebody's
I
four-wheeler
hate giving
track.
him credit.
Ah, skidder. Yeah.
Oh, it's
But,
here, yeah.
there's fee schedule.
Oh,
That's actually right here now.
Okay.
So it's a $6 grand right there.
Yeah, between that and the review fees, we would would need to do something else to move forward with initially doing that. 'Cause basically, by the time you go through the open space plan, you almost lose the value of a lot. Between the engineering fees and.
I mean, I can offer that if you'd like to come in and sit and talk about the open space and definitively, I would be glad to sit with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, I know the requirements, it's just, I didn't know if the board had any flavor to.
I think,
To
I don't
to
want
waive 'em.
to be that guy, but I think we're kind of going off topic from what's on the agenda. If
Yeah, that's fine.
anyone wants to kind of.
No, that's fine.
But, I love it though.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, yeah, it's kind of interesting just looking at this because all of our other preliminary and definitive plans have, a base fee plus a per lot fee.
Yeah.
And this one section, where there are no ways created, does not have a per lot fee.
It just got $6,000 and that's it.
And it's still, well, okay, first of all, review fee, if we don't use it, you get it back.
Right. Cool. We're looking to waive a lot of the requirements, so I know if you send it to Quinn, it's gonna come back with a laundry list of of exactly what is in and required by the zoning, so that's, I just wanted to see how much is flexible,
See,
basically.
And again, I don't know, I'm just looking at scenarios, I honestly, I can't make up my mind on it.
Yeah.
But if you actually file that plan, then those lots are there. What's to review?
But you're saying
But it's gonna change.
it's gonna change the lots
It's gonna change the lot size.
and the number of,
But
Still, was there 12 there altogether?
There's between 11 and 12, I can get a 12th, so I can fit 11 120 footers in that corner, and I might just go for a 12th over here. But we're probably not going more than 12. I mean, we maybe could, but that's what we're going for, because I don't want to make them, I don't want to do any flag lots. I just want to have all frontage lots 120 feet wide, because the flag lots devalue when you have houses behind houses. So the idea of it was, yeah, you have a narrower, maybe a smaller lot, but you back up to open space.
Man, it's a lot of space.
Because we could, to be honest with you, I think we could get 14 in here if we really pushed it.
It seemed, just from what I'm hearing around the table, it sounds like that there's some positive feeling on this.
Yeah.
But I do think,
It's a precedent, Norm, that I'm worried about.
well, yeah, it's.
but I think Dave is gonna take some time to.
Yeah, and I think Dave's suggestion, you come in, talk with him, meet with him,
All right.
and
I like that.
maybe
that'd be
try to
good.
digest it.
I mean, you can always request waivers from the various departments. The definitive anyways, if you have a good reason to do it. So,
I mean, do we wanna do a straw vote, Norm, of what we think?
not on the agenda, I would just caution the board.
Yeah, I don't want to
not
put you
going
on
down
the
that road.
spot. I mean, if we're gonna do it, maybe what I'll do is maybe,
If you meet with Dave and put it on our next agenda, that makes things legitimate, correct?
I don't know, you typically, best practices
have,
indicate that something's on the
a
agenda, it's
tag.
actionable. You know,
A
it's a
tag,
special
put over
permit,
the-
it's an A&R.
the name.
Okay.
To have general discussion, not usually an actionable item. I think the applicant knows the business well enough to evaluate options and understands the bylaw and subdivision regulations sufficiently, where it's a matter of, I think you get a flavor.
yeah, maybe what I can do is submit without the filing fee. And just maybe submit a plan and, cause the problem is I don't want to come in with $6,000 and submit it.
I'm just thinking of when we have waived any fees.
Down on subs that I can.
I
Well-
don't believe we ever have one.
We probably haven't, but I'm thinking if it's turned over to the town, that would be the waive for the fee.
Oh, I see what you're getting at, Dick, as opposed to putting it into each one of the property owners, it's town property.
That is correct.
Then there's some incentive to waive fees for you if the town's getting something out
That
of
is
it.
correct.
I'm okay with that, that's for sure.
Will the town accept it?
We are the town.
Those are bold words.
Well, the public
Part of
hearing-
it anyway, so what the heck?
We are part of it, I would argue with that.
Yeah.
We're all part of it.
Well, I guess let's
Yeah,
explore.
you guys give
Yeah.
me enough to act on. I appreciate it. And sorry,
Yeah.
sorry to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay, I like that. That's good thinking, in my opinion.
Whoops. We
Try
need to
it.
sign something.
Yep.
We gotta get this signed,
Yep.
my young lad.
Thank you.
It's the file.
Let's do it.
I gotta sign, did I sign this sucker? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. There's that.
Okay.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good holiday.
Yeah, you too. It was a good Thanksgiving.
All right.
This seems like the,
An awful lot of lots all of a sudden.
well, if you, the paper and all this stuff, this part of Massachusetts is becoming a very desirable place to live and build. So,
Yeah.
or sell your house if you wanna get the heck out of here. Heck, I use the word heck.
Yeah.
Okay, onward and upward here. Subdivision development, Brice Lemon Estates.
What's going on over there?
Other than, obviously, from the minutes of the last meeting, you can see he's building houses like mad.
The reason I think something is of interest to the board is this proposed rail connection,
The rail trail.
which came in by email a couple of days ago or so. Actually, I have the rolled up, most revised set over there. The board wants to look at it
Yes.
closer.
What am I getting?
By you, behind you there.
Right. Excellent.
Oh, this is big.
This has the,
What page are you looking for? Because that's probably what I want to open up into for
Oh,
the,
that's Dick, if you can remember. Was that ever shown on there? It was only discussed.
I think we were getting him to, wanted to show it, but he never had the actual good pic.
Then I guess you gotta reference it by the lot.
okay.
It could be in that general area, I believe.
67R, he's got it,
Lot 67.
yeah, instead of going across, right here, where it was supposed to go.
Second page.
Yeah, that's what I was looking, 67. 67 is on page 8. All right. 8 of 13. Why? There it is, 67R. Let me do this. Put that up. Yeah.
We need to get some strong people in here, move that screen.
Yeah.
I was told it would be done soon.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay,
Gotta
67.
talk to the mayor of Gardner about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're,
That was a pitch.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's in the supplement, it's in the regular package.
Yeah, it's in the back.
It's in the back end,
Drainage easement, so you're coming into the, around the thing.
item 3.
It's all the way in the back, last page. The very last page.
It's the one that,
Actually, it looks like it's going right over that guy's lot.
No kidding.
oh, you're kidding me.
Nope.
It says drainage easement, so he's got it within the drainage easement.
Yeah, but you can't have a rail trail on private property, can
Right
you?
between, no, it's a path to the rail trail.
And if there are certain easements granted, whether you would want to, is a different.
That's what I'm getting at.
Right?
This, I've seen this on Caddyshack or something, where people are walking through your backyard.
Can you tell me?
It was the beach.
The beach, yeah, with John Candy.
John Candy, yeah.
Vacation
Take-
something.
Family vacation?
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
Was it not originally, he put this extra pond in up here, on this thing.
And he wanted to go around it, Dick, if I remember,
Yeah,
on the
he wanted
edge.
to go around up the other way. Now
Yep.
he's gonna go around here, but originally it just came right straight across. Period.
And that slope is too steep for him to do it off of the
Well-
property.
Well, to me, right at the moment, my thing is, does it meet ADA?
Now with that slope, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I have no idea.
that'd be a question for,
And also,
Carl.
to me, it would
Is
also.
that a special deed that you have to
What?
put on special?
On that person's property.
Yeah.
And also the homeowners association.
It'd be
It
perfect.
should be part of that, but who's in charge of the homeowners association? Is Dave in charge of it?
No,
No, it's the
it's,
or Norm.
trustees, it's the
It's
trustees of the
trustees.
homeowners association.
Yeah.
A group of
Yeah.
trustees are created. You were the ones to get joking. I didn't quite catch that, okay.
Dave early retirement here.
Yeah, right.
No, but I mean, that should be all part of,
I just-
agreements and everything else, but to me, at the
I just don't
moment,
like this.
It seems to me that
We didn't agree upon this
it
when we
should,
put.
the access to the rail trail should be entirely through the open space.
Correct.
Correct.
That's how I.
Now, looking at that, one of the things I have to kind of wonder is, I believe, this is the pump station,
Yes, it is, yeah.
right beside the pump station?
Right in.
That would be probably
Yeah.
Norm, my
I don't know why I didn't think of
suggestion.
that.
Well, see, the pump station, if you look at that line, it looks like it's, the what's the word I'm looking for now? The way this is laid out here, see that? That the pump station, actually, there's no access on the road where that line is. It doesn't show it on there, but it looks like the pump station's property actually is landlocked. You know, this
Pump
little.
station property is part of the right-of-way of the roadway.
Correct. That's
No,
what
but
we-
I'm saying oh, okay, so that line shouldn't be there, that's sealing it off?
Yeah, this,
That
okay,
little,
here's the right-of-way of the road.
yep.
Goes right across there, down there.
But see, he's got a line right there that seals it off, and I'm wondering,
I don't think so.
that, you think that's wrong?
Yeah.
That's what I thought too, okay.
Sidewalk, center line,
Yeah,
roads.
Because this looks like what he did for the right of way, like this, he came up here, around like this, and then that landlocked, that little area right there.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's right.
But when it looks like there is even just at least on this thing, there's this little small gap right here.
It's
A walkway.
10 foot. It's probably a 10-foot gap, I bet.
Did it say 20 or is it 10?
It looks like that, but I don't think it is.
But no, I see what you're saying. That would be easier, less
Yeah.
obtrusive.
I just,
And everybody then would be part of it. I mean, it's part of the homeowners association instead of that one person being on that piece of property.
yeah, I just don't think that kind of access should be on or through a house lot.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's just my feeling.
What does, I noticed it says piles on here, what the heck does that mean?
That's the asbestos pile?
No. When I think of piles, I think of concrete piles driven into the ground.
In the ground?
Yeah,
Oh.
but it says piles on here, and I'm not sure what that means.
No, you'll have to go to the topo map,
Yeah.
which is another page 8 of whatever.
Yeah.
So can we,
Suggest to him to change his,
Well, let's put it this way. Do we first indicate to him that his proposal is
denied.
not acceptable?
I agree.
I agree.
And at the same time,
Help him make it right.
Suggest
have him investigate,
other avenues with the suggestion.
particularly running down beside the sewer pump station.
I'm okay with it.
And I would suggest,
Then
that even though,
everybody walking down, they can write some graffiti on the pump station door.
it says a 5-foot
As
wide,
opposed to somebody's house, I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
the 5-foot wide pathway that they have here, I would say that, you know, an easement for the trail should probably be wider than that in order to maintain it and everything else. If you have to take a tractor down there or brush hog or whatever, I would think it should be trees are gonna grow, and everything's gonna grow in, it'll be just what happened up to Central Tree Estates up there. They lost that whole walking trail up there.
Don't know if we could now impose that,
A wider,
yeah. I'm sure that's not in our conditions.
Don't you know how wide that space is exactly between the pump
well,
station?
it's open space,
we don't.
it's open space anyway, so
Yeah.
to me, it doesn't belong to anybody, it is part, well, it belongs to the homeowners association. So they themselves can,
What about parking for other cars, that people that wanna take that route?
Well, they just park in the neighbor's driveway.
Yeah.
no, okay, that, you know, that's, it's part of the open space so that it would work good on that.
I mean, Norm, do we suggest to him,
I would,
instead of letting him guess, why don't we tell him what we want?
No, I'd suggest that he investigate.
Our suggestion?
Yeah, well, you know, investigate having the path run beside the sewer pump station.
And again, and we better be specific and not within any property lines.
Pump station number 2,
Yes.
not number 1.
And he may have already looked at it and not, I mean, it seems that would be a pretty reasonable spot to put it. I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. You're talking Clee. I don't think he probably,
There's nothing.
Well, I don't notice him here trying to defend this.
Yeah, that's a good point, Marilyn.
Well,
No,
I don't know if he even necessarily knew we were going to discuss it.
he's out of town anyways.
Okay. Well, that's my suggestion. I don't think we need a formal vote on this, right? Probably just, do we need Dave or somebody to go back to him? Or do we need to send him a letter to Tamika? Or-
Well, yeah, I was saying,
If I heard this correctly, you're looking for a letter indicating that the
Yeah.
proposal is not acceptable for placement of the rail trail, and that you would recommend investigating placing the rail trail near the pump station number 2, and not within any property lines.
yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I can get a letter out next week, the week after, when we come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 8 hours a day tomorrow.
No,
Yes, there is. Actually, it's 24, isn't there?
You have worked with my project management staff at work.
Get it done.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Town office is open tomorrow?
Ah, yes.
Okay.
okay.
Oh, get rid of the beast.
Closed for tomorrow. All right.
is that our new plan?
Is this the official?
This is the most recent plan.
Okay.
With the exception of this,
Okay,
which we're not accepting anyway.
that's right.
Is there any other issues from Carl on this property that's come up? I've had a few people mention to me it's a little muddy and disastrous there.
The board has all the correspondence from Quinn, so.
I haven't seen anything, that's the reason why I was just asking. I have not had the privilege of driving down there lately, so.
I haven't done that.
Yeah, you're
We've
right.
had some
I've got to get out
I
myself.
should.
Combat wound. No.
Staple?
Staple. Yeah.
Get your last tetanus shot.
All right,
2012.
Item 4 on the agenda.
yep.
Please, man, get.
Does everybody have a copy of it?
And I apologize, I had an all-expense paid trip to New York City to pick up
Yes,
some
the-
salsa, so.
Draft of that decision is in every board.
For the town meeting, yeah.
I was in Ohio.
Yes, it's in the main pack,
I
it's
went
in the
and saw
supplement.
Tool in
In
Pittsburgh.
the supplement
The
pack.
band Tool.
I was in Queens.
You have the supplement
Yeah.
in addition to the main list.
In there, so it stays there.
I got the 10 o'clock recap from my wife when she called me. Now, the question the big question I have from the town meeting that I couldn't answer myself, because these were bylaws changes, are they off the table for 2 years?
I don't believe so.
Oh, that's item 5, we can come to that.
Oh, I'm
I think
sorry.
we're on item 4 at the moment.
Okay.
We can come to that, that's on there, for discussion, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you guys were on 5. Prescott, okay, silly me, sorry. Kick me in the teeth.
So Prescott was in this one.
The supplement.
Is there, or in the supplement?
It's item
it's in-
4 supplement.
Near the back.
There we go. Okay.
There it
And
is.
as much as it's not particularly on the agenda, but I think it's germane because we're looking at this. I just want to note that this special permit decision, and probably those that follow, are going to be significantly different and longer than what we have done in the past.
Is this due to town
Okay.
council?
No, not really. It's, well, I'll say due to Dave being diligent.
Yeah.
And among other things, if you just kind of scan through this,
Oh, boy.
when you get to, like, particularly, say, page 3, one of the things that he is incorporating is the findings and the facts regarding the review process for all special permits.
Yeah, he lists them, every one of them out.
Because the thing is, we have a special permit for an estate lot. Okay, and all basically we have been doing in the past is listing any findings regarding that particular one.
Yeah.
But we also have a procedure that governs all special permits. So he is including that in these, which, to be perfectly honest with you, I guess is right. I'm almost kind of wondering if, well, when they recodified these zoning bylaws a number of years back, remember they sent them out?
Yeah.
And I think they kind of really messed them up, because there's some things here that are probably just not even germane to
Yeah.
an estate lot. Okay, but that's a problem that we might need to look at in our bylaws.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is George Lucier came to pick up his decision on his estate lot down on Barry Paxton Road.
Yeah.
Well, I got a phone call from him, and I had to hold the phone about that far away from my ear for about 10 minutes, because he looked at these findings, and I believe he considered these all to be conditions of approval, which they're not.
No.
They're just findings.
Yeah.
The conditions are on
Okay.
page 6.
Yes. I think I somewhat got him calmed down. He still was not happy in any way, shape, or form. I suggested to him that he give the decision to his lawyer, and maybe his lawyer would be able to explain to him. And if he still has problems, then, yeah, come on back and maybe we'll talk.
That, in this one, the only 3 that are legally binding are these ones right
That's
here.
right, that's right, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but,
But I can see if there's something that in the future, there's a problem,
yeah.
you've already set a precedent, and this is how we're gonna follow it, and
Yeah.
I like it.
It's just.
I like it,
Yeah.
so.
It's one of these things, if you go over like to page 4 of 7, number 5 in parentheses, minimize the removal of trees 12 inches in diameter or larger. I mean, yeah, come on, just on an estate lot?
Yeah. No, wait.
Some of these other things,
You're
we,
right.
we wouldn't need number 9 if we'd have had a bylaw approved, correct?
Proposed use.
yeah.
To me, for crying out loud, you're right.
So-
We need to get back into this and recodify.
It's just
it.
dot the i's and-
Maybe do something with that. In the meantime,
I'm tired already, because I look at this and it's telling, or on camera,
Well, and, you know, I can, honestly, I can see George Lucier taking a look at this.
Yes.
And I could probably see his blood pressure just
Yes, rising very
going
fast.
right through the roof. And simply, he didn't, I really don't think he understood it,
Yeah.
Right.
okay? He looked at it incorrectly.
I think had he come up to see Dave and Dave just showed him and gone through it with him,
Well,
might have.
I don't
kind
know
of-
if that would have,
I think it would have.
how do I want to phrase this?
Carefully?
Once it's simple, and we're not gonna do that anymore.
Well, number one, even in the end, he says, he doesn't see why, you know, we need to do this. But, how do I want to phrase this?
That's what I mean. We need a pause button on that camera.
George Lucier and someone else at this table who is not a planning board member sort of butted heads earlier,
Oh,
well before this.
okay.
Okay, let me just. word it that way.
Tamika, stop it.
And
Don't rough up George.
I'm sure Dave can defend himself, but I'll tell you.
He's doing a good job. I like what's here and the discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why
Dave's been wanting to say something, I'm curious.
that's why I tried to handle it as best I could myself.
Obviously, I'm not going to address the last comment, but I will say that I realize that some of the procedures and practices that we're trying to take care of in the planning office are best practice areas, one of which is a more comprehensive decision of what's been drafted. This is not untypical. You know, if there were findings of fact for a special permit in the zoning bylaw, then those need to have answers. This is just the way the bylaw is.
Yeah.
This is what there is to work with, so this is what we have for an application, we also modified. So we're trying to have a more complete decision, which actually helps to protect the applicant. A number of applicants now have worked with the enhanced format. This helps to protect the applicant. If there's an appeal, the applicant can say, well, we actually made a finding under that. If an abutter says you don't have adequate space for parking and loading, well, they can say, yes, we do. And they can cite the finding of fact and show it on the plan. So that helps them, and it helps this board. And that the role is to protect the board's interest and the town's interest, and incidentally, tangentially to protect the applicant's interest, should there be an appeal. So that's what's happening here. I realize it's new, and that there's been some long-standing practices with parties who've been in the area for a while, and they're used to a different way, but that's fine. But this hasn't, I have no action or reaction from others who've used this format. Other times we've used this for a condo, senior living housing complex, they had the same idea. And that's actually, that worked in that case. So this is the direction I think we'd like to go in for this type of a special permit. So you have the special permit generally, and then in the back section, you have the particular findings of fact for the state law in particular.
Yep, and then the conditions of the special permit,
Yeah.
which are the legal,
Yeah.
what you're holding him to, and then the signatures.
However, the other side, I'm gonna fault myself, because, you know, we did sign Lucy's special permit. It had all this in it. I don't really even remember looking at it. Do all of these?
All of those, and I read and I say to myself, why?
Okay.
But now I know why.
Yeah.
And I will say too, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
The applicants receive the application, and the application is a ready-made form for them, where the findings listed, all they have to do is write the answer. The criteria are listed, they just have to write the finding. So there's a ready-made form. We're not asking the applicant to cut and paste out of the bylaw to create this. We actually give them a form. All they have to do is fill it in. And that's what happens, so.
Well said. Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with it, it's just, this did
We're just
come
gonna
up.
have to educate our applicants.
That could be tough.
Well, old dogs are gonna have to learn new tricks.
Well,
Well, thank you, I'll try.
yeah, me too.
I'm approaching that now too. Do we need
Okay.
to sign this? Because it says board signed on November
That's what we're hoping
26th.
to obtain tonight, unless there's some
Okay.
issues that you'd like for us to
The
resolve.
only thing I'm gonna ask you to change is, it's
Oh.
NAHR.
I thought I got that. I got it.
You got it on the signature.
One of these days, I'm gonna get it in
That's
all the
okay.
relevant spots, so I apologize.
Dave, I don't, like I said, I've got people I've known for almost 30, 40 years now that the H is something that's never been
You know,
there.
it's that HR combination. It's just-
Yeah. The Germans are sneaky.
Okay. Anyway, is this a copy we should sign, the one that was in here?
Yes, please.
Motion to, do we need a motion to sign it?
Endorse.
A motion to endorse and sign?
Second, so.
Any discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay. No, that was an interesting discussion I had with Mr.
George. Well, as long as the end that he said, I'm sorry, I'm good with that.
No.
He didn't.
No.
That's right.
However, he has, you know, we did leave it for him to give it to George Carizzi, and I have not heard back yet.
George probably said to, who's here, just accept the signature and walk away. They haven't done anything wrong.
I don't know. We'll see. Okay, Number 5, Fall Town Meeting, recap. Well, I'm sure everybody's aware what happened at town meeting.
At 5 minutes after the meeting over, I was, because I got the phone call.
Yeah. And
I did a couple days later.
I guess the way, at least I am thinking of it now, is I was thinking of these things as being little minor changes to our zoning bylaw.
I agree with you.
Not a big thing, and I think that was a mistake. And with that, putting it bluntly, we didn't sell it. And I think that's something that is, for anything that we bring up, is gonna be necessary in the future.
What was there, did anybody give a good argument why?
Well, it started with Luke and Archioli, who simply said, we shouldn't be doing it at the special town meeting, it should only be done at the annual town meeting. Okay, which that's been his stand forever.
More people.
Okay, yeah. And that just kind of started, I think, the downhill thing. The one other thing that, and I don't know if we discussed this as a board or not, but the idea of continuous frontage, okay, means that if you have two roads like this, okay, road here, and you have a lot, you can't get part of your frontage here and part of your frontage here.
And see, I didn't understand it that way.
See, and I didn't really either.
Right.
In fact, the individual that was discussing it called me and asked the question.
Yeah.
And I said, I would have no problem with this. What I'm trying to get away from, Norm, is this and this being frontage.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't
That's-
want.
yes,
This I
yes,
didn't have a
yes.
problem with because it was continuous
yeah.
around a town roads, road or
So,
roads.
yeah.
What I was trying, what I explained is this is what's been going on and I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
Of putting a house back here and then deciding on which one it is, but giving it this number, but the driveway's over here, which is to me a dangerous situation for an
Also
individual.
adding
Or
more.
worse, or worse.
Also adding those up.
Yes, yeah. This to me was just one all, and I agree that when it was explained the way the bylaw was intended, that wasn't the intention, and that was, I talked to Mr. Patterson and said, I'm sorry, I was misunderstood, because I thought when we put the bylaw that, like, this would be okay, this wouldn't, but this would be.
And that's kind of my thought.
But-
So, that was kind of the second thing that sent it downhill. And actually, I think from there on, the other two
We're dead.
articles, nobody was interested in voting for.
We're ready to go home.
When I did come up to talk to Dave about it, and he was showing me our bylaws on that, did point out to him, we are correct in it, where it does not say streets. Frontage must be on street. One street,
Oh,
Yeah.
not plural.
Yeah.
yeah, but see, then this would. that
Could not work.
Wouldn't work,
Yeah.
you know? And my own, this is just my personal thing, I think this should be allowed,
I agree, Norm.
okay? But there's been a lot of configurations
Yeah.
that we've had that they're just plain,
To Dave's point, the adding up stuff is what I wanted
Yeah.
killed.
yeah.
And Seth and I talked, the chief and I talked about this, having driveway on one road and street address on another. That is, there is more than one or two in Rutland like that.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it's a dangerous situation if you have an emergency or some, a child, anything like that. So I told him, that's what we're trying to kill. Not
Anyway.
corner lots, just
Anyway,
that.
Any of these kinds of things, at least to my way of thinking, any of these things that we bring back, we have to make a presentation of these things, complete with a slideshow, examples.
But isn't it strange, the public hearing,
No one shows up.
no one shows up?
They're not coming, no matter what. They're
I
not.
made that comment to the couple that talked to me. I said, we had a public hearing and I remember our chairman asking for the public. And there was no public.
Yeah. The
So-
other thing is, most likely, our biggest opposition will come from builders.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. David suggested getting them in on discussions on any of these things before we present them to the town.
Again, public hearings.
Okay? Well, and to be perfectly honest with you, if he decides he wants to do that, I'm perfectly happy with it. I'm not sure if I think it's the best idea. I just kind of suggested, when we do get the public hearing, how about giving the builders a special invitation to that public
I
hearing?
like that.
Which is what I had understood.
Right?
That's what I had understood.
I can see
I
that, yeah.
didn't understand it's anything but maybe a generalized
Mhm.
thing to stakeholders.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's like what we did
Yeah.
for the,
Or on that mezzanine sign or some type of notification.
to be perfectly honest with you, I'd let Dave handle it any way he wants to. I think he knows how to do it.
Well, I'm trying to listen to what the board would recommend if we were to attempt to bring this forward again, because you folks have the institutional knowledge of zoning changes, how they occur in this town, and what is the preferential approach and so forth and so on.
I still believe we've got to get that use pushed through in May, because
Oh.
that doesn't follow Mass General Law.
Well, it's not currently allowed. That was only to clarify that it's not.
Yeah.
So that it's consistent with how some of the newer descriptions of ZBA powers are written. That one is vague, it's ambiguous, because it uses older language
Yeah.
before the zoning overhaul
Well,
in the 70s.
okay, let's put it this way. Can language be written into the ZBA that they can allow use?
Yes, it has to be explicit.
Okay.
The language that's there now
So-
is vague.
Yeah, so it isn't that state law says ZBAs
Okay.
cannot grant use variances. State law doesn't say that, it just says that if they're
Okay.
going to, it has to be explicitly stated in the town.
And ours isn't, it's really
That's right,
vague.
That's
It's
right.
vague whether they can or cannot, but we do have, however, it was vague whether they could or not until we have an opinion from town council indicating that it's not permissible. And that she took the ambiguity out of the language and clarified the intent of it.
Okay, so I have a question. So if it's vague on everything, will every available use therefore have to be changed in the bylaw? No?
No,
Each one, no?
no, just the language in the bylaw itself.
But wouldn't you say that someone wanted something, and they thought that from the old language that they can get a request, and then they say, well, I'm asking for A, well, then we're saying that no, A isn't permitted. Do you think they would have to go back and clearly state that unless otherwise? Because everything in the past, it could be, they're trying to argue it there, so it's not expressly written. And we're saying that it has to be not express, it has to be written that it's not expressly written.
Once whatever language is written into the bylaw, the past doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
But if it's ambiguous, if it's,
Well, that's what it is right now.
It was ambiguous, but now we have a town council opinion backed up by case law.
Okay.
So the language looks ambiguous, but it's really not because we have commentary on that language.
Okay.
But that's what was shot down, correct?
The
Correct.
big question is, do we, and by we, I mean the town, not us personally.
yeah.
Does the town want the ZBA to be able to grant use variances?
Well, that's not what the intent of that bylaw was. The intent was consistent with the opinion that they cannot.
Yeah.
That
No, but I
was the
see what,
language
I do see what you're saying. And as with a good case, with the last case that was up against the appeals that I'm aware of, that would have been a good example for them, you know, if someone wanted to go up for an appeal, for them to get to say yes or no.
I mean, I think if we're looking to open up areas to town where uses should be allowed, then I would think the standard way to do that is to rezone parts of town to residential to commercial or something else, especially where it makes sense to do that, where there's an existing commercial corridor in an area which could then be extended. That's the rational way to expand areas for commercial uses.
And that's what I,
My biggest problem with granting use variances is that it, by its nature, is gonna create spot zoning.
Exactly.
yeah, and that's what I thought we were getting away from,
Yes.
but by getting this bylaw out there,
Yeah.
we're gonna have our zoning, we've got a zoning map, and as legal counsel came back with that bylaw addendum or amendment, that eliminated spot zoning, basically.
Yeah. When they had, you know,
And obviously, and this is my opinion, in May, we should have a presentation and take this right back to the town and go at the same, what's the word I'm looking for, discussion points that was brought about the continuous land. This is here to help out residents by eliminating spot zoning, so you can have a Walmart dropped on 40 acres of pet parcel next to you. And I know that's extreme, but
someone buys up 2 lots in the middle of Brunel Farms and says, hey, I'm gonna build a factory to manufacture Roundup.
yeah.
Awesome.
You know,
When's the last time the town went over all of their zones to
We just
maybe to put that question out to the town? Is there
We
any
look-
spots that want to be rezoned?
we looked at that when we did the town center districts.
Yeah.
yeah.
And because we were reducing industrial to town center.
Light industrial.
Light industrial, we went through that zone, so it's been about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah,
We
at
went
least.
through looking for light industrial, and basically, because the town is so residential already, trying to come up with land to zone industrial that has at least some kind of a buffer between residences. There just isn't.
North Rutland was that place that was zoned light industrial, right on the Hubbardston-Rutland line.
Yeah.
I think that was the only one. We left it alone, or we changed it from light industrial to business. Did we change
Well, that
that?
would be something now that industries are changing, and, you know, as far as what I would think industrial, growing up in a steel mill town, that to me, that's industrial, but nowadays it's,
Industrial could be a biotech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's also other zoning districts besides industrial. There's business, Philly Center, Town Center 1, Town Center 2.
Yeah.
So there's other zoning districts.
Yeah.
And there's already, I mean, up in 68, you have the light industrial office. And
Yeah.
then you have some non-conforming businesses nearby that are in the residential zone. So you actually have commercial activity because it's non-conforming, but it's not called commercial. And then, is there potential elsewhere? I think that's the question asked. Are there any areas where people would like to see a change from residential to one of the commercials? Or a new commercial zoning district that doesn't currently exist, that would kind of
Tight, yeah.
make the balance between too much and not enough.
Home-based
That's why,
businesses, how does that,
That's home occupation permits.
home occupation permit,
Yeah.
how does that involve with zoning though?
Special permit.
It allows it in residential zones.
Oh,
Yeah.
it has to be allowed in residential.
One is by right, the other one is a special permit through the planning board.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's more than 2.
And it's sort of outdoor storage of vehicles. 10,000
Mostly
pounds.
number of employees
Yeah.
and that sort of thing, which is, to me, that major home occupation is a little dangerous, the way it's written. But,
That can lead to spot
But
zoning.
someday
too.
that thing has got to be taken care of because there is an awful lot of home occupation and we should be,
And there's not a lot of permits that have been given out.
that is correct.
very, very good.
Very few. But, you know, what Dave was saying, that's one reason why I feel that 68 is a good corridor for business and commercial zone.
Even 68's getting a lot of
And
residential.
that's just it, you know, you
I
drive
know,
down there.
and that's one of the reasons why I would like to, you know, if anybody's willing to put their property up for light industrial or whatever for the future, now's the time to try to do it, to save it.
Yeah, the other one that I wish, and I thought we even kind of approached them, Coppolas, their
Yes,
property on Pommogussett
Yeah.
Road.
Oh, that one down halfway down Pommogussett past mine on the right?
yeah.
Yeah.
As you're heading? Yeah, yeah.
Because it used to
The
be
old
a
ski
ski
area.
area. ski-
Oh, is that where it was?
Oh, heck
Okay.
yeah.
Because there's an excavator there and there's semis parked in the back.
There's a lot of stuff
There's
parked.
a lot of stuff
Okay,
parked up in
I
there.
don't want to know, right? I just,
But it's a pretty sizable chunk of land.
Yes, it
Yeah.
It
is.
is.
I mean, I will just add to this, you know, the land up on 68, that's light industrial. One entity bought 5 parcels, and 3 of those parcels are gonna be under development for a self-storage facility, which this board's aware of.
Right.
And we do get calls in this office from people from in town or adjacent towns who wanna move to this town and locate their business, but oftentimes we have to say no, because either the use is not allowed, or there's not enough, or the business, or there's not enough land that's properly zoned where the use could go. You know, there's interest amongst auto repair, restoration, and the like, things like that, which don't, they may not drive a lot of foot traffic, but there's still commercial businesses, and this town needs to increase its commercial tax base. At least that's what I had understood, but
And we need a cheaper gas station and liquor stores and.
Well,
And a market
forget
basket.
liquor, I'm thinking
Yeah, market
marijuana.
basket, but, yeah, especially this, lately, market basket has been terrible over in Leominster, it's so packed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, terrible.
Don't-
And even
we
when
went
the
there-
asphalt one, I went up there and that
that's
was.
another one. The only
That's-
good thing about that one is they got a Wendy's.
Yeah, and, no, that's doing very good, but I mean, I was amazed at how many other stores are opening up.
The wife and I were in the Leominster one this weekend. What a zoo.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, like I had mentioned to you people before about Dunkin' Donuts in Hubbardston, wanted to move to 68 and 62.
Oh, right there at the,
At that intersection, and all of a sudden, there was a bylaw that was brought forth quickly, there is no drive-throughs. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
And right after that, I mentioned to a few people, RDIC for one, but I was planning on thinking about bringing it up to the select board. I want to cut the trees on part of the property on 68, the light industrial. Open it up. I mean, honest to Pete, how can you sell a piece of property if you, number one, don't have a sign on it saying this is open for light industrial or whatever, And if you cut it down so they can see it, you know, cut the trees up to the rail trail right there, and we have 25 acres over the other side of the rail trail too. And to me, if you don't start putting it out there and doing something, and to me, hey, Dunkin' Donuts, hey, you wanna put something down here? Traffic is picking up all over the place. I don't care where, but I tell you, things are changing. And now's the time to start changing, yeah, to move
So if they
on.
don't wanna be in Hubbardston, let's put them in Rutland. 2
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts in Rutland?
Three.
It's
There's one at Four Corners.
Yeah.
Four Corners.
Four
Oh,
Corners,
that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a liquor store. That's not Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, another one.
No, it gets a lot of uses, Dunkin' Donuts, it's got a drive-through.
Oh, I know, it's on the corner.
Yeah.
All right.
But to me, for crying out loud, I think that this is a period of time when we should start promoting as much as possible. Yeah.
Need it
So
from there.
I think you're right. Pardon?
You need to sign it.
I need to
So,
sign it,
I guess-
but you're right.
Norm, my question is, what do we prep for May? I mean, it's November. If we're gonna do something, we need to start thinking about what we're gonna prep for to put before the town.
Thank you.
Are we gonna go back with any of these?
Changing some zones.
I mean, I would go back with the, and this is my opinion, with the continuous and just put streets.
Or
And-
qualify it that as.
And qualify it for corner lots, yeah, Dave, that's,
That would take care of that type of
Yeah.
situation.
and, you know.
Well,
I still think we gotta sell it.
No, and that's what I
Yeah.
mean, when we're preparing, we've gotta put together a presentation, which is PowerPoint presentation, and, you know, maybe have a meeting or two and make sure that we've got all of our i's dotted, t's crossed, and what ifs talked about.
and it's not only a corner lot, don't forget. The one down here, on China Kill. You know, it's just after Brice Lemon on Main Street. There was not enough frontage there, and it went up over the hill and way.
Oh, in the
there,
back.
About almost half a mile down is where it came back out.
Well, that's not continuous to me.
No, it isn't. That's why I'm saying, that's, to me, to use as.
Examples.
An example.
Oh, I see what you're saying, this is
Yeah,
what we're
it's not-
trying to eliminate.
Yeah.
And then some, of, like I said, the lots that we've seen here that have,
Yes.
which street sign are we using? Main Street or the cul-de-sac?
Yeah. All right.
So, anyway,
I say
Any-
that's something that we ought to be doing probably in the next month or so is.
The next important thing for that discussion, what do we do for the presentation? Do we have our illustrious planner do that in his other roles that he's got to get done at the same time?
It would be nice if, you know, it'd be nice if we had.
I mean, I can do PowerPoint presentations. I'm a trainer at Riley, so I do them all the time. But I don't want to be the one.
I took a PowerPoint class in college, so.
No, I think staff would obviously take the lead on it, working with the
Yeah.
board on
Yeah.
it. And I think that, if I understand things correctly, it should be a very concise presentation for each article.
Yes.
oh yeah.
No more than 10 slides and
Yeah.
that's it.
doesn't have
Get
to
it
be-
done,
doesn't have
get
to be
it.
long.
No.
So in terms of developing the content, if this board could help develop the content and then, sketch it up, bullet points, and then I can create the PowerPoint.
Really,
myself.
it's, we probably just need to come up with an outline of what we want and then give it
Sketch
to
it
you,
out
Dave.
by hand.
Yeah.
Correct. That's the thing, yes.
Yeah.
But we've stole stuff before, so marijuana, that was a,
These, I don't think, at least the continuous one, I guess we could look around, go on the web and see what's out there and see what we can grab.
Which, you know, among other things, even in, you know, in selling these things, Okay, how many of the other surrounding towns require continuous frontage?
Yes.
And I'll make it almost all of them.
Well, my materials, maybe those are the materials that find their way into the PowerPoint. I did a
Yes.
survey of several municipalities.
Right, yeah.
And everything I found
There you
is
go.
say continuous.
Yeah.
And I can cite those, and that was in the support materials.
That's
Maybe
right.
that becomes a slide.
Yeah.
That this
Yeah.
is not novel, this is not radical,
Yeah.
this is pretty standard issue.
I like that. I like that.
Right down the line, they all
Yeah.
require.
Well, yeah, I mean, if people want to say no to something, you know.
How about a $42,000 pickup truck?
Yeah.
How about $14,000 to study the Wachusett Street intersection?
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Did that get approved?
Yeah, it did. Would you stop it? That's my income for a month, okay? I'm gonna sit there in like 1 car, 2 car, 3 car.
No, it's going to be more like 1, 2, 3, 4.
To me, how many, it'd take maybe 4 cameras and then the dispatch up, they have something to do. They can count the cars.
There's
one
more
thing, hey,
dangerous
that one did it
intersections in
illegal.
this town than Wachusett and 68.
Problem is, like, I guess my wife said, the gentleman said, there's a 6-year-old girl that's having her life altered, and I get that, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's horrible. But there's also people that are older that have got their lives altered from, other dangerous intersections.
But I think the
in this
chief said this was a start. This wasn't the final one. This was the start, if I remember right.
Yeah, stack. Give me a freaking break for crying out. Camera or no camera. What about right here up on Maple Ave for crying out?
Oh, yeah.
Crosswalks. The veterinarian's daughter for crying out almost got killed there for crying out.
Yeah.
Do we have any lights there to stop traffic? Hell no. And do the cops stop the people for passing on the right-hand side when somebody's pulling out of Maple Ave? Could hit somebody in the freaking sidewalk for crying out, or the crosswalk. Give me a break.
I saw this morning
Jeez.
at Leominster Hospital, I went in to get some blood work. Leaving at 6 o'clock, this lady was crossing a crosswalk. She looked both ways. I stopped, let her cross. A lady in an SUV came around the corner, that far from taking her out. Didn't even stop. At a hospital. At a freaking and so
Jeez.
that's just the attitude. Everybody's in a hurry. They're on the phone. They're just. Hopefully this new law will fix a lot of that and give the police more, so these, excuse my language, idiots on 290 that are doing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope so.
That's why I hugged the shoulder now.
Anyhow, I'm sorry.
I do have some, regulations and things that are changing. There's a lot of things that are changing with the marijuana in Massachusetts.
Mr. Baker just signed something, right?
I think that's with the vapes. I know he got.
I thought he was doing the council too. He was reevaluating the marijuana council.
Oh, that may be, but they're starting to add. Oh, I mean, Massachusetts is really. They made over $400 million already, with just the 4 retail stores that are open. And now they're talking home-based businesses. They're talking more restaurants. They're talking, what are things that could be changed that could be allowed in this town. That's not that the idea is set out there, but Massachusetts is thinking about allowing, because especially with an outdoor grow, because they changed this with the amount of plants that people can grow. They said that person, it's 6 per adult, 2 adults per household, for a total of 12 plants. You can grow over 100 pounds of marijuana with 12 plants.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be, they had it where you were only allowed 10 ounces, but when people started growing outside and these 15-foot plants were popping up, they started arguing that there's no way that they can keep what they're going to do with all this extra weed. So they changed the law now. For an individual household, there's no limit that they can grow. They can only grow 12 plants. But like I said, these plants, they can get.
Yes, they get huge.
You can
they
get
get
10, 20
sunflower
pounds
huge.
per plant. So that could be very profitable for a home-based business. So
That's going to be an interesting home occupation permit.
Yeah.
and to grow 12 plants doesn't take a lot. You can grow 12 plants in outside in this room. More than that in this room.
Oh, yeah.
So you're talking
It's a lucrative business.
Yeah, and And now that, especially now that the federal government's thinking of legalizing it, you know, it's the 400 million the state has made already.
That's state law.
Crazy. And it's going for $5,000 a pound. I shouldn't be saying
This
that on there,
all is
but,
here.
I mean, it's what,
There is state law.
It's
Pretty
state,
close to
all
it.
state law.
insane.
Yeah, the mirrors are pretty close to me.
It mirrors it.
I'm sorry, you wanna?
It's, I think that's something for us to look up, to keep an eye on the law.
Yeah.
There's one thing.
Yeah, because would we have to modify our bylaw?
If the state modifies their state law, we would have to, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Or do we just, are we tied in? Because I remember our bylaw was sort of tied in the
Well,
state law.
it might depend on
Was.
what particular changes they make.
Okay.
Everybody finished with that?
Yep.
Is everyone agreeable to the December 11th, which would be the next Wednesday
I'm good.
after our next meeting for the
I think so.
review committee? I did get to speak to Bonnie, and I haven't heard from Julie, but I'll contact her.
Well, anybody else have anything to come before the board?
Yeah.
Question about this?
In here, in your thing, packet, town of Rutland is section 3, plans not required approval under the subdivision control law.
Yeah.
So this is ours, but it mimics the state's,
Well,
or is it?
the part that mimics the state in particular is section D, the determination that approval is not required, and E, determination that approval is required, and F,
Yeah.
recording. Those things mimic the state law mostly. The other things here, application and the requirements, the submission date is pretty much mirror state. The submission date doesn't mirror state law. According to this, the start date is when the planning board fixes the meeting, but it's actually 21 days from the time it's submitted with the town clerk. So this submission date isn't, the form and content of the plan looks like it's typical, but it doesn't seem to be mandated so much. You have room to move if you want to expand this by modifying the application requirements and modifying.
Well, submission dates, to me, it's always seemed to be, 21 days is very close. And whether or not, it said here, whether or not the board actually meets. And, once they file it, you got 21 days to act on it,
That's correct.
period.
So that means sometimes there might be a need for a special meeting just to handle that type of permit.
But if that is dictated by mass law,
That's
then,
mass law.
okay, then we're screwed right there. And the only other thing is, and going through the plan here too fast, I did not see all property boundary lines adjacent to the proposed parcel, it's supposed to be shown.
In
So,
the Weaver Farm one, it was.
Yeah,
The Campbell's Pommogussett one, the ones over on the other lot were not, because the top boundaries, they weren't showing what the adjacent lots were.
Yeah.
That wasn't shown. I'm trying to think of,
and I'm just wondering if that's something, I
That was.
Agree
It
with
doesn't matter.
it was,
No, I was just thinking that, wasn't that the property adjacent was the tower company?
I said that one was, the Weaver Farm one was good.
Yeah.
Because it had the property all the way around it. It
Right.
was the one that was on Pommogussett, that the top part that angled up, you didn't know what the adjacent property was to those lots.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that was missing on that one, but
and my last thing was F, recording.
I take that back. He did it on almost all of it, but not all of it. So,
Has this been, have we kept track of this for the stuff coming back? Now that you've been on board, Dave, have you seen
We,
these recordings come back to us?
the recordings really come back to the assessor, because the assessor has to update the map. So the assessor's getting automatic notification.
Through the courthouse?
Correct. This board is not always getting this kind of follow-up, but we do try to catch it when a building permit has been requested, at least. This is one of these things which is a housekeeping item. I mean, if it gets recorded at the registry of deeds, it's valid. The plan does go to the assessor. We do ask for this when someone applies for a building permit to say, by the way, we need this.
And do the, yeah.
You know.
And to
We
me,
have received these, we do receive these often enough, but not always.
not always. But is it part of their permitting system now? I mean, before they
That was
can
what I was
move
gonna
on-
ask.
Yeah, before they move on, is that something that they have to have before they can go after their,
Building permit.
building permit and
Yeah.
or,
Approvals and sign-offs and,
or anything from, Board of Health, or anyone that's, when they're looking for a permit.
The way it becomes part of the permitting process is that it needs planning review, so that's a comment that gets made at that point. We don't automatically, we're not able to automatically receive a copy of the A&R after it gets recorded at the registry of deeds in the same way the assessor does. They don't send us a copy.
No, they don't,
We're
but
relying on
we're
that.
relying on the individual here.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And to me, they're not following through. If they don't bring it to us or get it to us, somehow, they're not adhering to the,
It becomes
thing.
it becomes part of the practice to look at building permits, to make sure that now that we're here, we know that certain things have happened, we know that there's an A&R list, and it's a check off, do we have this? And at that point, a comment can be made when they apply for a building permit to say, you have not provided a copy of the endorsed plan.
yeah, that's it.
Well-
There's a comment, please provide that, otherwise the building permit cannot be issued.
Okay.
I
I'd
like
like to
that.
see this followed through.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree, I agree with that, because it is in there, for a reason, so.
Yeah.
But there's no really good way of enforcing it other than when they get to the building permit stage.
Yes.
I'm good with that,
That's-
because that's a good way to basically hold their feet to the fire to
Yeah.
get the documentation updated.
I agree.
And, because Dave, to your other point of that August change that was recorded at the registry of deeds but can't be found, the first thing I thought of is, if you can't find it, how did our assessor find it?
I don't know if the map's been updated to the most recent plan.
Yeah, that was just something that made me pause for a moment.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it was just a comment.
Now, this other one was the other approval not required, review requirements. And apparently this one is Mass General Law. And I wanted to know, can we change our subdivisions to act upon 2 or more lots? In other words, no more A&Rs except for one house lot for A&Rs. Anything after that has to be, that's
Subdivision.
classified as subdivision.
I don't think so.
That's mass law, huh?
If a two-lot subdivision where it can be established that there's sufficient frontage on a frontage street and sufficient access, wouldn't be a subdivision. A subdivision is when you don't have the frontage along an existing street, and you have to create a street for the first time to create the frontage.
I know, yeah.
So that, it doesn't, I think the state law is what the hurdle is for that idea. It's an
Well, I was
interesting idea,
just
but-
trying to think, how could you work a way around of eliminating some of the A&Rs and have them really,
The first line in
Yeah.
the indented paragraph basically says it.
I know it, yeah. And I underlined it.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things I was thinking outside the,
May I just ask what the name of that document is that you've been referencing?
This is-
approval not required, review requirements. It's under general law, chapter 41, subsection 81P.
It's a summary of it.
Yeah.
That's not verbatim from the statute, but it's a summary of previous guidance.
Yeah. And time has dictated again that we can't continue on in our regulations, but we need to get there. And desperately.
Business meeting.
Well, if the board would like, I think we're equipped to, if I understood a suggestion previously made, to segment the subdivision regulations, to take one section at a time, such as the A&R section, which the comments are already there for the A&R section. It's a matter of getting feedback from Quinn. So if the board would like to segment it and just have a hearing on the A&R.
That's, to me, I'd rather them
Piece it up and take care of it.
You better believe it.
I agree too.
Is there a consensus on that?
Yes. You, Marilyn, you feel how do you feel about it?
No, that's fine. Give me
Yeah.
some direction.
Yeah.
And I can consult with Dave.
I just think we grab a piece of it and start taking it apart.
Yes.
Because that's not bylaw, that's subdivision regs.
We already have comments that have already been made for A&R. When we started this, we did the A&R already. We were just going to do the whole thing first and then get comments from Quinn.
Yeah.
If you want to segment it, I'll go to comments to Quinn. It's a
Yeah,
subdivision regulation.
I think we just take the A&R, get the comments from Quinn and tackle that one and move on to the next one.
Exactly. I want to get these
Divide
things.
and conquer, man.
Exactly. Period.
Then that'll be an upcoming meeting for a hearing once we,
Yeah,
soon.
okay, good.
All right.
Is there anything else to come before the meeting?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Any discussion? In favor?
8:31.